That's right. We're here with episode 68. That's right. Just one more episode to the epitome of Rinkside, episode 69, coming soon. And I'm joined here with the man of the hour, the Bulls ambassador himself, Squibs. How's it going? And
Good.
Hume.
How are you guys?
We're good. Sorry, I forgot to introduce our co-host, Hume.
Hey, I'm not bad. Still a little hungover from yesterday, probably, but
Did you catch the game, Squibs?
The football games last night?
Yeah.
I did not. I only saw the finals. Little disappointed that the Ravens didn't win, but only motivation there is simply due to a fantasy league, and Ravens versus 49ers would have secured me winning the Super Bowl and given me more for sure points. But yeah, I have no motives really outside of fantasy leagues at the moment with the playoffs and who's there.
Hmm. Well,
yeah,
I
I'm
know
just
Hume.
finally glad we made it back to the Super Bowl after just the horrible, long, depressing, streak of 365 days of not playing in the Super Bowl. It's really starting to wear on my soul. So it's nice to be back.
Well, I'm hoping the Chiefs take this one home. I win like a really cool prize if I do. So I'm hoping to get it in. I actually got a prize recently that I wanted to share. Oh, we got to pull this one down. It's you ever heard of Dustin Bufflin, Squibs? He was
I have
like a
not.
he was the first Black American. Oh, here you go. I'll put you down there for a second. The first Black American to win the Stanley Cup, and he won it in 2010 with the Chicago Blackhawks. So I traded this AJ Dillon helmet for this stick, but I wanted to share it because I think it's cool, and I think it's you know, I've got him on the wall next to Orr. He's back there. He's up there next to
Mhm.
Orr right there, and then this guy. Oh, it's giving a thumbs up. And this guy right here, Jaeger. So looking to be able to do it. So yeah, grabbing a crowd today. What I wanted to talk about in this episode, having you here is what's new in the world of Florence. Like, has there been any breaking news?
Yeah, with Nolan Nordstrom retiring, we had a hole on our top line looking to fill it with a sniper, and luckily we were able to sign Voodoo in free agency. He's going to fit right in, right on
Lovely.
that top line, and um, it's it sucks to lose a player of Nordy's just talent on the ice, but also his just presence and on the team, and just how awesome of a person he truly is. But to be able to replace it with the top forward free agent on the market this past offseason, of course, doesn't negate all that Nordy did, but it definitely helps put us into a great position moving forward to continue on with our success. And Florence this past season won the Europe Division Championship, first team outside of Copenhagen to do that. And so hopefully that's able to continue going forward. And Europe is one of the toughest divisions, and it has been that way for a while now. So with the addition of Voodoo and being able to keep the entire team still together, that's really going to, I think, want to help kind of propel us forward at least this next season. Hopefully, a few after that as well.
Hmm. Wow. Great perspective. I didn't realize that's the only player you exchanged, and whatever happens in the draft, all I can say is Nordstrom sounds like a really awesome player. So who knows? Maybe there was actually an undercover switch between Miami and Florence to exchange players, but we'll leave that to be confirmed in the draft. I also hear that there's been some changes in the owner's suite.
Yeah. Yep. We so last off season, I believe it was last off season, might have been two off seasons ago. We had a guy Clausen to the ownership room with me, and then this past off season, Trevor Lopez just got confirmed as another co-owner for us. A lot of that, just kind of stems from Trevor having experience already as being an owner before. when he was the owner of Florida before stepping down and coming and joining Florence. But also at the same time, I've taken on a bigger role with helping the league, um, in just a variety of different ways. And at the end of last season, I started to feel burnt out a little bit. And, if it wasn't for Trevor and Guy kind of carrying the weight down the stretch, Florence would have had, quite a few missed progressions. Um, they really helped me with, game planning and brainstorming ideas and such. And, you're only able to do so much in a 7 game series. But, when you're able to go out there and, just kind of throw ideas at the wall and, have people who are, able to kind of help sort through them. It's always an added benefit. But yeah, Trevor, luckily, like I said, with his experience, he had already taken on kind of a GM role with us the past couple of seasons, leading the draft, because I helped co-host the draft. So he's able to kind of operate Florence's lead with him and Guy, while I'm able to help more with the league side, and so that's able to allow me to continue to help the league and help it grow and continue moving forward, and that's also able to help keep Florence in check and make sure that we're moving forward as well.
Sounds like a pretty robust organization you've kind of built there in partnership with individuals like Trev and Guy and other valuable members of your staff. It also sounds like if you want to become a co-owner, the title you need to get is Royal Advisor, because if you have that experience, it'll rocket you straight to the top. Hume, did you have any questions for Squibs?
Questions? No, not really. I mean, I've kind of already, known this information for a while because the Discord that we're in. Um, I'm really happy for you that you got Voodoo. Really happy. Just warms my heart.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Hume. They had a very Stanley from The Office going yay feel to it. So
You know what? We'll go with that because that's nicer than what I was thinking in my head.
Well, let's talk about the league as a whole. There's been some major announcements. First, going through the awards, we've had the all rookie team consisting of looks like Jai McCartney, Kobe Froby, Niles Godlander, Gary Hoekstra, and Ken Yuhan joining the all rookie team. What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, it's nice to see. I can't remember off the top of my head if they were Finn's affiliates or if they were just on the team. But I coached Hoekstra and Godlander um, in the minors when Malmo was still around before they changed all the names of the minors teams. So, it's a nice little ego boost for me, obviously. I taught them right, and they ended up being on the all rookie team. So.
Yeah, there you go.
I think another aspect of this is that there's 4 Rome Gladiators on this list. Um, I believe with Froby, Godlander, Hoekstra, and yeah, whatever. Sorry, Kim. Um, and so I think that just kind of speaks that Rome not only is able to build something as a team, made the playoffs this past year, but they also have a young core that all just received a rookie honors. So I think that's going to bode well for Rome and bode well for these players moving forward.
Mm. Shout out to those players. And I forgot one, Stevens behind the net or in front of the net. But those were the rookies. So we also had the all pros. So starting with the goalies, so don't forget them, Coco Raccoon. Then we had Tater Slice, Taylor John Reeves. I don't know, maybe Adam Hughes, Ray Bob Diddle, Ibram Gaunt. And then on the other side, in the Rocket, we had Babadier, Bernard Gustafson, Tank Falco, Ezra Swift, Aaron Beesman, and Money Mills on the All Pro. Remember, those are the guys that performed, the best, but weren't selected for the All Star game. Any thoughts on the pros?
Yeah, I believe that's Aaron Hughes for Turku.
Okay.
I think. Don't quote me on that, but I don't know of any other Hughes in the pros. Um, so it's nice to see him get recognized because he played, top line center for us quite a bit this year and really balled out. Um, and I like that Deer got recognized, for at least some award because the way they played in net, being a younger, less overall goalie, was just honestly I was astounded just watching them all season, and seeing their stats and how well they played because it can be a bit rough sometimes when you've got a younger goalie and you're playing people who's top six all or 99 shots. So
Absolutely. All right. Well, let us now transition from the All Star, or excuse me, from the All Pro to our awards. Now, I know that our viewers out there may know what these awards are. Some might not. So I thought it might just be helpful if I repeat them. This is named after Jason Jaffrey. It's the trophy granted to the most outstanding forward in the minors in Otis Boudoir Jr. Seems to have taken it away there on the Pittsburgh Lions. Did you have any thoughts on that, Hume?
yeah, well deserved. I know that he always gave us problems when we played him in the minors. So, it's definitely going to somebody that deserves it.
Mm-hmm. All righty. And we've got the McIntyre, which goes to the most outstanding minors defenseman, who is none other than Helmut Van Hammer, taken home it for the Berlin Bulls.
Yeah, that's the Bulls are who I coach in the minors, so I'm well acquainted with Van Hammer and his ability. Definitely carried us at times. Would not have had the regular season record we did if it wasn't for him. Unfortunately, the playoffs went completely the opposite direction that the regular season did. But it's a regular season award, and he was definitely a top player for us. So it's nice to see him get rewarded for that because I'm a little biased. He's one of my guys, but his play definitely deserved it.
Hmm. And I made a mistake here. This is actually the best minors goalie, but everything you said still holds true. Certainly a valued member of the team. We're going to move through to our other minor award here, the Baumgartner. This one is the most outstanding minors defenseman. So we'll wrap that one up. This is a split between who do we got here? Marvin Robbins and Walter White. Split decision. Both played some outstanding defense. Shout out to the Walter White, one of the few Breaking Bad members still to remain. I know Jesse Pinkman's still here, but some other ones have dropped off the board. Did you have any experience with these players?
Yeah, Robbins, he's actually an affiliate of ours at Turku, and on the Bulls, so I got to coach him. Easily the best D man we had on the roster. We were actually me and Escola were really kicking it around this off season. Turcolino was kind enough to let us know that he was starting a second character. So he only had 2 seasons left max for us. So we ended up trading him to get something back since we were going to lose him, 2 seasons from now. And we were trying to fill, the hole in the roster that he left with, free agent demon. And just weren't having any luck getting our primary targets. And we were strongly considering, bringing Robbins up this season, but we were able to get, I believe, a 73 overall D man. So we thought it might be a little better for his player and us if he got another year in the minors to grow. But he definitely deserves to split the award. Just he was solid all season. Helped contribute to Van Hammer getting his award. They helped each other out there. So
All righty. And so our final minors award is the Somer Award. This going to Tyler Grims, who was awarded the Coach of the Year in the minor Squibs. What do you think it takes to be an outstanding coach?
Yeah, it takes quite a bit, a lot of trial and error. Finding, you might find a line that works really well together, but does it come at the cost of your other three? And so, you got to kind of balance that out. And it's, balancing the, best players versus, some of the guys who, might be a little bit lower overall, and finding ways to, make all of them work together. And then repeating that success. One of the coaches that I've looked up to most in this league is Scurvy Dog, and sometimes I'll be talking to him, and he'll say something, and um, we'll be talking, and I think the best piece of advice he's ever given me is that sometimes the best coaching is not coaching, and by that is when you find something that works, you don't change it, you don't mess it up until it's proven that it no longer works. And so, when you're able to find a groove, you want to stay in that groove as long as possible. But at the same time, you want to be prepared for when you get, forced out of that groove to be able to kind of jump right back into another one. And
Mm,
so it takes a lot to be a great coach in this league. And, I think Grams has, not just a lot of experience in the minors, but, coaching, helping out with different teams that he's been a part of. So, um, Grims of course knows this. But yeah, I think that kind of plays a key part in being a good coach across the board.
mm.
Yeah,
I,
I agree with what you said about scurvy wisdom of
mhm.
sometimes the best coaching is no coaching. I think you see it a lot in real sports. Like I could, bring up the AFC Championship game from yesterday where the Ravens just for whatever reason decided to become a like spread offense air raid team, even though they were the best rushing offense in the league, and it cost them the game. So, if you have something that works, don't switch it up just because your opponent gets in your head or, you're going up against somebody that's like highly favored and you're the underdog and you feel like you got to get tricky to win. Like, no, if a strategy or a lineup has been working for you, like stick with it.
Stick with it. Words of wisdom. Let's talk about the most outstanding player in the Cup final, the Lemieux Award, going to Jojo Vasquez from Boston. Um, which one of you guys like played Boston the most? Who is the most? There you go. What's your take on this? You think how do you think JoJo did?
Couple things here. One, we traded JoJo. We drafted him back in season 3, traded him to Boston. I want to say 2 seasons ago now. Fantastic individual, very deserving of this award. But then this playoffs, we lost to him. We won the first 2 games. They came back and then won the next 4 against us. So luckily we weren't reverse swept. But they really put on an effort. And JoJo, every time I turned around, seemed like he was scoring a key goal or having a key assist, making some big plays for him. And props to Corker for being able to kind of coach that and being able to put JoJo into a situation where he could excel and lead Boston to become a cup winner.
Mm, shout out to him.
Yeah,
Let's.
we
Mm-hmm.
only played him, I think, the 3 games you play against people that aren't your division but the same conference. However the schedule shakes out, man, he was a menace. Like he was just a menace on the ice. It was one of those guys where like you never really wish injury on anybody, but like you think like, well, this game would be a lot easier if you just took a dive in the first period and didn't come back. Like,
There's no shame in wishing injury upon somebody in a simulated league. All right, so then we've got the Tortorella Award going to. This is the Coach of the Year. This one's going to Bobby Brownstone on the Tropics. What's your take on that, Hume?
yeah, if I had a vote, I probably would have voted for him. Um, in my mind, it would have been between him and Nate from Columbus. But he got him playing good. I mean, they made it to the second round of the playoffs, which is not a small feat. Um, Honolulu, hasn't isn't one of those franchises that has like a long history of success. Not that they were like bottom of the barrel or anything. I'm not saying that, but he got them turned around, and they're definitely going to be a force in that conference in their division going forward. I think definitely a team that you should never take lightly. Um, Even if their jerseys kind of look all fun and happy, don't let it lull you into a false sense of security.
Any thoughts on Brownstone Squibs?
Yeah, I'm very lucky that we only have to play them twice a season. Um, they Brownstones turned that team into just a fantastic team. They're so gritty, so defensive. Um, a couple seasons ago, you could almost bet that you're going to score 5 goals a game against them. Now you're lucky if you score one. You just a very solid defensive, front built, as well as great goaltenders. Just this past off season, now switching from James Base to Arnold Schwarzenstopper. Um, you know, Coaching, as we've already talked about, is tough, and Brownstone's definitely turned it around for Honolulu.
Absolutely brought them back into the fold, and outdoing them all comes the Solani Award, awarded to the best rookie forward, and this is none other than Nacho Sicario, which is just a sick name. I remember seeing that in the SFL many seasons ago when I used to be active in there. I always thought that was a killer name, and good to see Sicario. What do you think brought Sicario to find success, Squibs?
Well, Sicario means hitman, and he was Nacho Sicario was definitely a great shooter. Seems like every time you turned around, he was scoring a goal. I know Copenhagen had some early season struggles that they were able to overcome, but during that kind of struggling period, Nacho really kind of took off, and I think showed not just his team but everybody that he's able to compete with all of the veterans who've been around for a while, and being able to be a rookie on a good team sometimes can lead you to a tough spot where you're playing, only a handful of minutes. But if you're able to get, a decent amount of time on the ice and, you have some good line mates, you're going to be able to, put up some good numbers. And so, I think this was kind of that perfect storm mix where, Nacho was able to come up from the minors, play immediately and play well, and be on a decent team, and as well as being able to perform when most needed.
When most needed. What do you think about Nacho Hume?
Yeah, not taking anything away from him, or his player or anything, not at all. But like, I think that the him getting that award speaks just as much to the quality of Copenhagen's front office and coaching staff as it does, him as an individual player, because they put him in the right spot to succeed. Um, and he did not let up all season. He was very consistent. Whenever we do an episode and look at the rookie leaders, he'd always be at the top of assists and goals. But hats off to him. Like as a fellow, Solani Award winner alumni, it's probably my favorite award that I've ever gotten because the simple fact that you only get one crack at it.
Hmm.
So that's it's a trophy that I hold in a higher regard because of that.
Did you win multiple trophies?
Uh, I mean, outside of like, um, All Star Game votes and whatnot. No.
Yeah. Well, hey, hats off to you. I did not know that. All right, so the Bork Award going to the Defensive Rookie of the Year, Brendan Barboa, or Barbeau. I think I have him on potentially two, maybe PXF and maybe Sable. So I like
Yeah,
this guy.
He's definitely on your team in PXF because we played against him, the Chiefs, when we played the Bears.
Hmm. So he's there. What do you guys think of him?
I mean, performed so much better than we expected. Like when we lost Lassick, halfway through the season, like me and Evan, you know, honestly, if you asked us, in private, when we're not trying to put on a brave face for the team, like we thought our season was done because just calling up a rookie goalie, we weren't playing that great at the time. It's not like we were shutting everybody out with Vlasic either, So we were kind of in, you know, panic mode, like that meme of the dog sitting there with where everything's on fire, and he's like, "This is fine." That was kind of the front office, but we got him in. We did change some strats up. Um, just crank the aggression to max because we figured if we're gonna let in goals, we might as well try to score as many as we can. And somehow it brought our goals against down because this game makes no sense. But it was, I mean, great locker room presence. Watched, pretty much every game. Was active in the Turku Finns team Discord. Um, I if he didn't win the Bork Award, I was gonna have questions because I don't know anybody else you could have given it to.
Any thoughts on Barboa Squibs before we go to the Brodeur Award?
Yeah. Last season when we were playing Turku, Lashik I think saved. He let in like one goal on like 79 shots through 3 games against us. It was frustrating to play not just Turku but Lashik especially because anytime that we seemed to have some great shots, he was there saving it. So when I saw that Turku lost him, not only did I feel bad for Evan, for Turku, and for whatever Lashik is going through. Um, I almost was a little happy and like kind of like salivating a little bit. I was like, oh hell yeah. My biggest opponent, one of my biggest rivals, they're getting a rookie goalie. This is going to be fantastic. You're going to play him 4 times, and they have a young goalie. And then I was quickly disappointed to realize, damn, he's pretty good. He's able to hold his own. Um, and so that kind of like, all right, yeah, this is going. And then it's that same kind of feeling like, oh, this is fine. This isn't exactly how I planned on things going, but he like I said, in the games against us, always seemed to play really well. And then I think he had like 5 shutouts on the season and like 30 some games. Which I think not only speaks, well for Turku's defense and Evans coaching, but him as a player, to have, you know, half as many shutouts as the league leader as a rookie is just an impressive feat. And I don't know, like 12, 14 more, 12 or 14 like less games or something like that.
Yeah, he had more shutouts than Lassick in less games, and with an overall gap of like 25 overall points. So, his performance was just incredible.
Incredible. Well, speaking of incredible, we have the WA Award, which goes to the most outstanding goalie, and it's going to none other than Mike Twinscrew, who I'm sending a message to right now about something unrelated. But Squibs, tell us about Twinscrew.
Yeah, goodness, when we traded for him, I think two seasons ago now, maybe 3. Um, he was one of these. I don't remember if it was the WA or the other goalie award. Was the winner back in either season 1 or season 2. Um, and kind of after that, he kind of stumbled a little bit. Teams that were in front of him, maybe not as good as they were before. Um, or, he was just down on his play himself and, wasn't exactly thrilled with it. So when we traded for him, we had talked, a while about, what we could do. And, the hope was to be able to kind of return him back to this spot. And this past season, we were able to do exactly that. And he was able to do exactly that. And we wouldn't have been where we were if it wasn't for him making some insane saves and allowing us to, be able to win some games, 1-0, 2-0, some stuff like that. So, it was just very impressive for him to be able to kind of turn it around after, having some down seasons. And, I can't express really how happy I am for him as a person and him as a player. to be able to, kind of go through that down period and be able to turn it back around and not win just one, but a couple awards this season.
Couple of awards. You got any fun stories about Twin Screw Hume?
Fun ones? No. I think the best compliment a skater can pay to a goalie is calling them fucking annoying to play against, because Twin Screw is annoying to play against. Like, you'll rip off, 4, 5, 6 great shots that, you know, uh, have a high, chance of going in, and he just stops all of them. And then, you just gets in your head and frustrates you. 100% deserves the award. Um, he's been one of the best goalies for the longest time. Like, I believe he was here from season 1, if I remember right. I think he was already in the league when I joined. Um, but yeah, just one of those opponents that you respect, but curse under your breath at the same time.
That's the way it goes. Always a pleasure to play with the greats. So next up, we have the Brodeur Award. I think I just said that one. My bad. The WA Award and the Brodeur? Most
He won both.
outstanding. Okay, so the WA is the most outstanding goaltender in the league, and then the Brodeur is the fewest goals against in the regular season. Okay, not bad. Well,
one is statistical, one is subjective.
That's a thank you for clarifying. Okay, well, shout out to Mike. All right, so then we also have the Orr Trophy or the Orr Award, and this is the most offensive talents in the game from a defenseman going to what's he? Is this the Sheriff, Robert Garrett Jr.?
No, this is the Butcher. The Sheriff is Robert Grimes.
Okay, close. Butcher. What do you know about the Butcher?
He is fantastic. Drafted back in season 2 to Ottawa when I was still an expansion owner there with Banks at the time. He immediately joined the staff there and was just a fantastic person, fantastic locker room presence. And then you're able to see just his growth as a player over the years. I know he's picked up, I think, a couple of awards in the past as well, and he's always just kind of been a perennial top defender. At the start of the season, I was like, this guy has a real shot at the MVP award if he continues on the trend he was on. And I still think that he very likely was in that conversation. But being able to receive the best offensive defenseman award, I think kind of speaks values about what Jacksonville is able to get out of their blue line players.
Damn. What a crazy player to have on the team. Do you remember any other Orr winners, Hume? Or is
Not off the top of my head, if I'm being honest.
All right.
I usually remember the defensemen that hit me more than I do the ones that score.
I want to say last season's award winner was Ibram Gaunt for Florence, and I want to say the season before that was probably Dime Hardaway for Columbus, I believe. I think it was Columbus at the time. Maybe it was Miami. I forget which one.
I think it was because he had the record for the most assists.
Most assists, I think most points. That season, 2 seasons ago.
Yeah. Yep, and then we exposed him in the expansion. What a great decision. But that's just the way it goes. So now we've got the Lidstrom Trophy, which is going to it looks like we skipped one. Is granted to the league's most outstanding defenseman, Doug Britton. Shout out to Doug. What do you think makes Doug so good?
I mean, he's like 180 years old, so a lot of experience that comes with age. No, I just got to give him crap for that. He calls himself Grandpa, so just a great build, I think. Knowledge of the game, puts himself in good spots. Really hurts when he hits you. I learned that every time we play him. Just he's a rock there for him on the blue line.
Up rock. And what
He
do you?
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
set the league record in hits for a single season this past year. I think first ever player to hit 200 hits. And I think he finished at 204. So yeah, hits a lot, hits hard. Yeah, as you talked about, just he's been around since season one. I think he's earned a couple of other awards in the past. So, you know, there's almost a trend. If you've won one award before, it gets a little bit easier to win another one.
Win another one. Well, let's see who's taken home the Messier Award. Is the league leader in assists, and that is none other than Oliver Price, another Tropic coming out hot. Um, I'll pass this one off to Squibs. You seem to have the most experience with the Tropics.
Yeah, Ollie is another great player, another great character. Another guy who is there in Ottawa, Jacksonville. And talking a lot with Joey and Scurvy, Joey Rab, and owner of Jacksonville and general manager slash coach of Jacksonville. They both, had to let Price go in free agency due to cap issues, and they both really didn't want to, but didn't have a choice. And um, you can just see how much of an impact a player has to a locker room, to a team, when anytime that they do something in a game, whether it is against them or somebody else, the entire team is cheering them and supporting them. And that's exactly how it was for Price. Every time I turned around, it seemed like there was a different Jacksonville player, supporting Price this past season as well as the previous seasons since he's been, with the Tropics. And, like we talked about earlier, Brownstone's been building this team for a while, and Price has been a key player for him for a while, and excelled defensively at the forward position at first, and then really took off past couple of seasons offensively, and really led the way for the Tropics to make the second round and be able to compete in the playoffs.
To compete in the playoffs, that is the key. Alrighty, so I'm going to pass this one over to Hume. Maybe we'll save the Gretzky Award. What's that, number 13? Oh, okay, number 14. The Ovechkin Award. This one is the league leader in the regular goal scoring, none other than Cornwall. Hume, you covered the stats a lot. What do you think of Cornwall?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you lead the league in goals, you must be doing something right because you can't get that lucky that consistently. um, he was, I think, if I remember right, kind of came on strong in the second half of the season and just shot up the list. I believe somebody else was in the lead for the first half of the season. But like I've said about Tennessee before, you never have to question their offensive ability. They're a very scary team to play against because just as easily as you can have a 2-goal lead on them, you blink your eyes and you're down by 2. And he's a big part of that as their primary goal scorer. So deserved award for him, I think.
Deserved award indeed. So now we will move over to the Bergeron Award, going to none other than Squibs himself. Wow, I didn't know I was in the presence of greatness. I didn't do my due diligence in my research. Congratulations, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about this?
Best defensive forward award. Actually, I was the one who came up with this idea, as well as the Bobby Orr Award, Best Offensive Defenseman, 4 or 5 seasons ago. Submitted it, and was very happy to see that they were able to run with it. Um, you know, Being able to win an award is always a good feeling, and this was one that meant a lot to me as a very defensive forward build. Um, Being able to finally win one, as this was my first ever award, just made me very happy to see that, my on ice player was not only performing well, but was able to earn some recognition from the award voters.
Hmm. I didn't. I should read into these awards because I feel like I'm coming for this one. A defensive forward. So like, how do they? Does it have to do with hits? Does it have to do with like how do
Uh,
they measure that?
I think there's a handful of stats that go based on hits, of course, plus minus,
Hmm.
um,
Oh
face
yeah.
offs, definitely up there. Penalty minutes, being able to see if they're hurting their team or helping their team.
Hmm.
And some of it's it has to pass the eye test, and knowing that this player is on this team's penalty kill, is definitely a helpful thing. And um you know I got to assume that the committee has just a wide variety of people able to kind of watch a lot of these games, um and be able to kind of get that feel, because measuring defensive talents, especially with the way that NHL provides the stats. If there's blocked shots, giveaways, takeaways, all that would be
Hmm.
fantastic and definitely help not just this award but the Lidstrom Award as well and a couple others. Um, so I think the eye test is part of it, but yeah, hits plus minus. Um, I got to assume time on ice, penalty minutes, face offs, that kind of stuff. I think all has an impact.
Hmm. Absolutely. Do you have from one award winner to the other? Do you have any thoughts, Hume, to share? That now that Squibs has an award of his own, how to be
Yeah,
humble and
I definitely want to congratulate him on winning an award. It's always good to be recognized by your peers. And in my opinion, winning in a subjective award is always means more than just a statistical one, because you can't argue with the statistics. So it's nice that your peers are saying that you're the best, in whatever category. So congrats, Squibs, for winning that. Um, I wish you would hit me less when we play. That would be fun.
No can do, partner.
well, let's talk
Thank
about
you.
one that is objective here. The Gretzky Award going to Oliver Price and General Cornwall. So this is the records the most points, goals, and assists in the regular season. Shout out to these guys. As you mentioned, Price, making an impact, in Cornwall. He like took a little break, right, and came back. Yeah.
Yep, he was off for one season before coming back.
Well, he came back with a bang. But let's talk about the trophies I wanted to see here. Goals ambassador Squibs himself. Congratulations. What is it?
Thank you.
What does it mean to be an ambassador of gold?
This is one of those awards that is really not about your on ice talents at all. And it's focused on what you're able to do for the league, how you're able to help the league, and a variety of different ways. If you look back to the first few seasons, I want to say Doug, and, Chewy / Amelia Rose, Evan, Aniescolo, we're all, I think, the winners the first 3 seasons of this award. A lot of that had to do with the growth of the league, with being able to put time and effort into it, and they all turned out to be deputy commissioners now, a few seasons down the line. You look at, I think seasons 4 and 5, I believe, were Shaboy Sean and JJ McChuckles, both who, really carried the weight for the stats program, and the stats team. And, we wouldn't have, the stats that we do today without them. Um, you look at, the work that Tyler Grimm's put in, so much of it was, getting these logos and doing a whole bunch of graphics work. And I just have to applaud him. That's just something that isn't really ever thought of, but makes just such a huge impact. And being able to see the game day graphics that are posted like in broadcast alerts, you really kind of take for granted at times. You're like, oh yeah, this is exactly like what should be posted, and then you miss a day and you don't have that. And it's like when the playoffs started and it was just here's the games in order, you're like, wow, this is really lacking. And then I want to say last season was Triple H, for the growth of social media and for being active on Twitter, but also recruiting players again to join the league. so this award definitely has a variety of different styles to win it, and history with it, and so this past season I was right up there, top 2 or 3 in in streamer, and game streamed. Helped a lot with stats, helped with the rosters in game as well as in the sheets, Google Sheets. Um, and so helping with the draft show, just like I talked about earlier, just being able to help the league in any way that I can, and I appreciate that my you know volunteering was recognized by winning this award. It definitely means a lot. And at the same time, I'll give a quick shout out to the league. Anybody who's watching and wants to volunteer, you're able to do that. We will never turn down help, whether that's with the rosters, with putting in progressions, possibly streaming. I have to talk to the commissioners about that one, as well as then the stats team. All of those are great ways to not only earn points for your players, but able to provide and give back to the league. And yeah, highly recommend it. And I was able to hit 99 overall before a player who won 3 MVP awards, and that was, I think, a lot to do with that I had earned kind of the max volunteer points, or almost the max every season leading up to it. So those add up over time. Plus 10 volunteer points might not seem like a lot in the moment at any given time, but they really help take your player on the ice to the next level, and you're able to just do so much and help and continue to elevate the league and to move it forward.
Well, thank you for your contributions. I recognize that you do a lot. You're part of the fabric of this league, the culture of it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Let's close this out with our season 8 MVP, Oliver Price. Hume, do you want to share any thoughts on this guy that we've talked about?
I don't think there's really much more to say than we've already said, but definitely deserves the MVP award. Congratulations to him. Hopefully he continues to have just as successful of a career as he did this season. And in every game that is not against us. But just got to tip my hat to him, say congratulations.
Congratulations. Well, I want to congratulate Squibs again on those 2 awards this season, and thank you for hopping onto our show this evening. And then also shout out to Hume for winning that award a long time ago that I didn't know about. But wanted to thank you guys for hopping on, and thank our viewers for tuning in today. Remember, we're 1 episode away from the episode of all time. So this was Rinkside signing you out.